They don't tell you this part. They don't show it in highlight reels or victory speeches. They don't talk about the nights when you sit alone, staring at the ceiling, wondering how your life ended up here. When you followed the rules, stayed quiet, worked hard, and still fell behind. When it feels like everyone else got a head start, and you re-stuck at the same place, watching time pass you by. That moment when you realize no one is coming to save you, that moment changes everything. There was a time when this person, just like you, felt invisible. Not famous, not confident, not special. Just another name on a list, another face in a crowd, another dream that felt too big for their reality. They woke up every day with ambition in their chest and fear in their stomach. Bills piling up, doubt getting louder. People around them smiling on the outside but secretly hoping they wouldn't make it because your growth reminds people of their own excuses. They applied for jobs and got rejected. Over and over. Sometimes no response at all. Sometimes a polite email that felt colder than silence. They watched people with less passion, less discipline, less hunger move ahead just because they had connections, confidence, or luck. And slowly, quietly, a dangerous thought started to creep in. Maybe I'm not enough. Maybe this is as far as I go. But here's the truth no one warns you about. Rock bottom isn't loud. It's quiet. It's not dramatic. It's waking up one day and realizing you've accepted a life you promised yourself you would never live. That you stopped believing, not because you failed once, but because you failed so many times it started to feel normal. And that's where the story could have ended. That's where most stories do end. Not because people aren't capable, but because they quit internally long before they quit publicly. They show up physically, but mentally they're gone. Dreams become jokes. Goals become memories. And potential slowly dies in comfort. But something happened. Not overnight, not magically, just a small shift, a quiet decision, the kind nobody claps for, the kind nobody sees. The decision that said, I'm done living like this, not done failing, not done struggling, but done quitting on myself. They didn't wake up confident. They woke up committed. And there's a big difference. Confidence comes after results. Commitment comes before. They started waking up earlier, not because it felt good, but because it felt necessary. They stayed up late learning skills nobody was paying them for yet. They sacrificed weekends while others were partying. They stopped explaining their plans to people who didn't understand the vision. Progress was slow, painfully slow. Some days it felt like nothing was changing at all, but something was happening beneath the surface. Discipline was replacing motivation. Consistency was replacing excitement. And slowly, quietly, their identity began to change. They failed again, and again, and again. But this time, failure didn't feel like proof that they weren't good enough. It felt like feedback, like sharpening a blade, like paying tuition for a future they were determined to earn. Every loss taught them something. Every rejection built resilience. Every lonely night built strength. There were moments they wanted to quit. Moments they almost did. Moments they questioned if all this effort was worth it. And in those moments, they remembered why they started. Not to be famous, not to impress anyone, but to escape the feeling of regret. The regret of knowing you had more inside you and never gave it a real chance. So they kept going, even when results didn't show, even when support disappeared, even when people stopped asking about their goals because they assumed it wasn't happening. But they worked in silence. They improved when no one was watching. They showed up when it would have been easier to walk away. And then, one day, something changed. Not everything. Just something. A small win. A breakthrough. A moment that proved this wasn't pointless. That maybe, just maybe, they were getting closer. That small win fueled the next step, and the next. And momentum began to build. People started noticing. Slowly, quietly. They asked, "How did you do it?" But they didn't see the years of doubt, the months of loneliness, the nights of frustration. They didn't see the sacrifices. They only saw the results. That's how it always is. The truth is, the comeback doesn't announce itself. It doesn't post on social media. It doesn't need validation. It happens internally first, in how you carry yourself, in how you speak, in how you no longer beg for approval or fear rejection. Your energy shifts. Your standards rise. Your patience deepens. You walk into rooms differently, not louder, stronger, calmer. You don't chase attention anymore because you're too busy building something real, and people feel it. They may not understand it, but they respect it. This is the part people miss. Success doesn't make you fearless. It makes you familiar with fear, comfortable with discomfort. You stop running from hard things. You start seeking them, because you know that's where growth lives. And no, life doesn't suddenly become easy. Problems don't disappear, but you become stronger. You become capable. You become someone who can handle pressure without breaking. Someone who doesn't collapse when things go wrong. Someone who knows how to stand back up. That's the real transformation. Not money, not status, not applause. It's becoming the kind of person who doesn't give up when it gets hard. The kind of person who keeps going when motivation fades. The kind of person who turns pain into progress. If you're listening to this right now and you feel behind, lost, or exhausted, understand this. You are not late. You are not broken. You are not out of chances. You are simply in the part of the story that most people quit during. Everything you're going through is shaping you, teaching you, preparing you, even when it doesn't make sense, even when it hurts, even when it feels unfair, especially then. Don't rush the process. Don't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. Focus on today, on showing up, on doing the work even when it feels invisible. Because one day you'll look back and realize this was the season that built you. One day you'll wake up and recognize yourself again, stronger, sharper, more confident. Not because life became easier, but because you refused to quit when it was hardest. And when that day comes, you won't need to explain your journey. Your presence will tell the story.